What is up, slaves? I'm just kidding. You're not slaves. Well, sort of. Not really, though. Kind of. Yeah, you are. I guess everybody's seen by now Joe Biden's press conference yesterday, and also that he is throwing the ideal out there. More than throwing the ideal out there, he's pushing the ideal that police can enter your home without a warrant for public safety, of course. You know, it's about keeping everybody safe. Um, I'm only making this video because I seen some comments today actually this morning when I woke up. For I get up and I check my YouTubes, I'm brushing my teeth or whatever, um, and I seen some comments where people are talking about, if you guys are familiar with the ATF raiding the guy's house because of the wall hanger deal. Apparently they knew that he had purchased one of these things. Supposedly he denies it, so they raid his house. People made the comments, all the people were, the FBI raiding a law-abiding citizen's home, why this guy goes and shoots up this store in Colorado. I'm like, dude, you're supporting exactly what you're claiming to be against. Well, how's that? I was like, because the guy in Colorado didn't commit a crime until he went there and did some evil shit. So if your logic is that they should have stopped him, then you support red flag laws and thought crime, pre-crime. And they couldn't grasp onto it. And they can't grasp onto it because they've heard somebody else say that same shit, and that's what they locked into their psyche, and that's what they're running with. While the FBI shouldn't have been bothering these law-abiding people, while they should have stopped this guy. Now, what should have happened is those 10 people, 9 people, plus the cop, I don't know if the cop was armed or not, or if he was on duty or whatever, should have had their asses armed. That way they could have defended themselves against the crazy person. That's what should have happened there. But government says you don't need to defend yourself. They will be there to save you, and time again we see that they're not. Yet we keep allowing them to come down with the full force of the government on us, using their policing forces to instill fear in you, which then makes you a victim. But to say just that thought, that whole thought process of, well, because I agree with what this guy was doing, you shouldn't have been bothering him, while you should have stopped this guy. If you want to get technical about it, everybody knew the guy who created the wall hangers said what it was. He just thought that he was, going to be able to get some shit over on the ATF because he called it a wall hanger, when he was announcing it was a drop-in auto sear. So if you want to get technical about it, if it's about the law, your buddy here that you're calling law-abiding was the one breaking the fucking law. Now, did the shooter in Colorado break the law? That doesn't even matter. What matters is he committed an immoral act, right? So that's when he should have been stopped. But the only way to stop somebody when they do that, since we can't prosecute people for pre-crime, is for the people to be armed themselves. All that shit's going away, though. They're now convincing you it's a good idea to enter your homes without warrants, which that shit's been going on for years. Nobody's noticed because it didn't affect them. But now that it may affect them, now they're noticing. That shit has been going on for years. There's a case years ago in Colorado where they entered the home in expectation of a warrant. And that's what they'll say. Well, we knew the judge would sign the warrant. Of course you did. The rubber stamp warrants now. The whole criminal justice system is done. It's trash. It's about the government. All the cards are stacked against you. They have endless amounts of funds to fight their position, which isn't even a real position. They create crimes. But they create crimes because people allow them to, because they say stupid shit like, well, the FBI shouldn't have been bothering Mr. Law-abiding over here and should have stopped that shooter in Colorado that they knew was a wacko. No, the FBI shouldn't exist. No policing forces should exist. The people should protect themselves. I mean, it's a simple. There's simple analogies that that are very factual. There's a reason why when the bank robber walks into the parking lot and there's Bank A that has an armed guard in it during business hours, In Bank B that doesn't, there's a reason why he walks in Bank B. There's a reason why right now ammo is worth more than its weight in gold. And, well, not really, but you know what I mean. And there could be a lot of money made from ammo. But we don't see people robbing fucking gun shops for ammo, do we? No, you don't. You know why? Because there's a high likelihood that everybody in the gun shop, at least a good portion of people working there, are going to have guns. You know, if your goal is to kill as many people as you can, and you walk in somewhere and you see a gun on somebody, you see somebody print, you're going to turn around and walk out of there, because the psyche is that I don't want to get shot before I achieve my goal. But they've convinced the public into supporting the very shit that they say they're against, and it's just, to me, it blows my mind, because I can't see how they can't see it. But then I remember people are they're just, and when I say ignorant, I'm not calling names. For some reason, I get said, quit calling me names. I'm sticking the name calling when I call somebody ignorant. I'm not calling you a name. I'm stating a fact. Like we was to have a conversation about tampons, and I say something. Guess what? I'm making an ignorant comment because I don't know shit about tampons. Nothing. Makes me ignorant. It's not a name calling. We see that shit all the time too. Troll is used every day now. I'm called a troll all the time. I was told yesterday I troll people about the GOA. Dude, I even made a comment about the GOA like in tight for months. And I made a comment about the GOA the other day. The GOA is not pro-rights. Somebody said, whatever comment they made about them being the most pro-rights organization, they're not pro-rights at all. They're pro-money in their pockets. Flat out. That's what they are. They pick and choose what cases they will battle based upon what they justify as righteous or not, or legal or not, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know why I said that together. There's two totally different things. But they're not pro-rights. Because if they were, they'd be filing lawsuit after lawsuit over the federal government violating the rights of the mentally ill or felons. But see, we justify why we agree with those laws that make them prohibit possessors. Even though the Constitution is their personal restriction on government. Dog is biting somebody. Even though it's their personal restriction on government, we act like it doesn't exist because we agree they shouldn't have it, which has brought us to where we are today. All these things have. The lack of ability for people to think for themselves and to just break down the simplest things has brought us to where we're at today, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to continue to get worse. And if you think that I'm wrong, I would suggest that before I say that, and we're still in the age of the finger point. Everybody's pointing fingers at everybody. Mainly lately, it's I think when I say something about Joe Biden, I just think it's funny as dumbass says the shit. Joe Biden's not going to get all kitted out with Kamala Harris and go kicking in doors on my street. No, it's going to be the police. So why are we still pointing fingers at the politicians when what's happened is that they created the police forces to execute the rule on us. And in doing so, they have created laws making it illegal for us to enforce our rule on them. So what happens in the end? They rule over us through fear. They instill fear in us. You're going to do what you're told or else. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to break the bad news to everybody. If you're watching this and you think that you've been free in your lifetime, you are a sucker, because freedom is not being free to do what you're told. That's called slavery. Being free to do what you're told is not freedom. It's slavery. But again, they've tricked the masses into being their own enemies. That's what's happened. And it's going to get worse. If you think that this won't happen, a lot of people go with the mindset. Doggy's going wild. Sorry. Mom's going wild now. Oh man, they didn't put the gate up. But I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say now. I love when you tell them you're going to do something and they're loud anyway. Totally lost my train of thought. Oh well, it don't matter. Oh, good thing I'm getting ready to have surgery on my face. Right here, I got glass in my head, and it's turned into like a cyst. And over the past 2 years, it's got all big and shit. Well, like it's bothering me now because I can see it out the corner of my eye. So they're going to cut it out of my head. That'll be coming up soon. Should be interesting. Get to go through the whole, you're going to wear a mask. No, I'm not going to wear a mask ordeal. See how far that goes. But I don't know what to tell you all to do. I wish I had the answers, but I don't. And I mean, like I do, and I don't. Somebody the other day said, well, you're stating the problem without giving a solution, so your statement of fact doesn't matter. Swear to God, that's what somebody said to me. And I said, I gave the solution. Abolish the police forces. Get rid of them. And that will fix every problem that everybody has. And at that point, then we just have to deal with each other. It's easy for me to deal with you if I don't have the mediator over here dealing with both of us, right? So, I mean, people, you know, we're in a time to where all lives matter, and the truth is they don't. You don't have the right to life. You have the right to ensure your own survival. But if you think that I should have to pay to keep you alive, you're fucking retarded. And we have to get out of that mindset and all this shit that's been, you know, subliminally planted in our head. John from SOE said something this morning on a video, and it created a thought in my mind. He was talking about how our lives are like a clock in the sense of 60 seconds, you know, around a clock. And if you hear something or you listen to something or a conversation comes up and it turns you, if you're walking at 12 and it turns you 1 second, how far, you know, 10 minutes from now you look over and the person that was walking next to you, you can't see no more because they're so far away. And I said, what they're doing now with censorship is that they can just change 1/10 of 1% of our thoughts this month on a long enough timeline that leads to 100% of our children's thoughts being changed. And they're doing it. And we see them doing it. That's why people support prohibited persons. Or they talk about felons, or they talk about the mentally ill, or they think they should have, you know, stopped Alid, Allahu, Allah, Choo Choo, whatever from Syria. You're supporting what you claim to be against, which means that you're an enemy of what you claim to support. It's fucking mind-blowing. For the Patreon guys, hey, I haven't forgot about you. I'm sorry I haven't posted nothing over there. I want to do a video special for you guys in the next day or two. And I will get it up. I want to post it just to Patreon because I don't think I've been posting the right way, to be honest with you. But I want to get that done. And be happy, guys. Just, you know, we can make it better. We just got to work together to make it better. And, you know, I don't have to agree with you to agree that we don't need what's bad. But everybody believes they do. And they believe the only way to get to what they want is through government. Government has a specific place in our lives. It should be about this big in my house and way over there in the corner somewhere where I'm not going to see it, ever. That's where government needs to be. It needs to be real small over in the corner. Maximum individual liberty, minimum government. But people, they don't understand what that is. Have a good day, guys.